There comes a time in every life when you must look yourself square in the mirror and say, enough. Enough of shrinking. Enough of pretending. Enough of calling weakness, wisdom, and foolishness love. There comes a season when the soul grows tired of being walked on, lied to, and played for a fool by the world and by its own self. That is the season when the voice inside whispers, "Stop being stupid." Now, I say that not in cruelty, but in courage, for stupidity is not always ignorance. No, sometimes stupidity is the knowing that something is wrong, but doing it anyway. Sometimes stupidity wears perfume and smiles sweetly in the mirror. Sometimes stupidity looks like staying quiet when you should have spoken, or speaking when you should have walked away. It hides in the corners of compromise, in the shadows of low expectations. It hides in every place where we trade our peace for approval. Stop being stupid. Stop calling your own suffering loyalty. Stop thinking that bending over backwards will make people love you. Stop mistaking attention for affection. Stop thinking that if you shrink enough, they will find space for you in their world. You cannot earn love by losing yourself. You cannot prove worth by proving how much pain you can take. There is nothing noble in forgetting who you are. There is no medal for being a martyr in your own story. You were not born to beg for kindness or barter for respect. You were not designed to be a doormat decorated with grace. You were born to stand upright, to walk with the rhythm of dignity, to live with the calm of knowing you are enough. But too many of us confuse forgiveness with foolishness. We think loving someone means losing the wisdom to protect ourselves. We say it's okay when it's not. We return to the fire that burned us and call it warmth. We let the same hands that hurt us hold us again, because we are afraid of loneliness. That, my dear, is stupidity dressed as hope. Hope is sacred, but when hope keeps you chained to pain, it becomes poison. There is a kind of hope that heals, and there is a kind of hope that hides your wounds from the light. One is faith, the other is fear pretending to be faithful. Stop confusing them. When someone shows you they do not value you, stop arguing with the truth. Believe what you see, not what you wish. You are not a builder of broken people. You are not the savior of those who refuse to rise. You are not obligated to set yourself on fire so others can feel warm. Stop being stupid enough to believe that love demands your destruction. The world will call you harsh for walking away. They will call you proud for having boundaries. They will call you selfish for saving your soul. Let them talk. They do not live in your skin. They do not sleep with your sorrow. They do not wake up with your dreams. Let them call you what they want. You keep your crown clean. You keep your peace sacred. You keep your intelligence holy. We live in a time where pretending has become fashionable. People fake smiles for followers, fake strength for applause, fake humility for approval. But you cannot fake wisdom. Wisdom demands honesty. It demands you look at your own foolishness and say, I did that. I caused that, and now I will do better. That is not shame. That is salvation. Stop being stupid enough to think that life owes you comfort. Life owes you growth. It owes you lessons, not luxury. Every tear you've cried has watered a garden you can't yet see. Every heartbreak has cleared a path you were afraid to walk. You keep cursing the storm, not realizing it came to wash away what could not stay. The thunder was not your punishment. It was your awakening. Stop being stupid enough to chase people who don't even walk toward you. Stop sending messages to silence. Stop begging for space in someone's life who has already moved on in their heart. Stop collecting crumbs and calling them a feast. There is a table waiting for you somewhere, with love that won't make you question your worth. But you'll never find it if you keep kneeling in places you were meant to leave standing. There's a foolishness that comes with fear. The fear of starting over. The fear of being alone, the fear of failing again. But what is worse, failing while trying, or living as a shadow of yourself? Stop being stupid enough to let fear tell your future. Fear is a liar that speaks with the voice of reason. It tells you to stay small so you can stay safe. But safety is not the same as peace. Peace is freedom. Safety is just a cage with cushions. Stop being stupid enough to wait for the world to save you. The world is busy saving itself. Save your own heart. Rescue your own dreams. Lift your own head. The same power you wait for is already living in you. You keep praying for open doors, but God already gave you the key. It's called courage. There's a difference between being humble and being humiliated. Humility is grace. Humiliation is surrendering your voice to silence. Stop being stupid enough to think smallness is virtue. You were not created to fit in. You were created to stand out. You were not made to blend into the background of other people's comfort. You were made to shine even when your light offends their shadows. Stop being stupid enough to call laziness peace. You are not resting. You are hiding. You are not calm. You are avoiding. You are not patient. You are procrastinating on your own power. Wake up. Your life is calling your name and you keep pressing snooze. The world is waiting for what you carry. Do not let fear be your lullaby. Stop being stupid enough to fight every battle that crosses your path. Wisdom is knowing which wars are not worth waging. You don't have to prove your strength to anyone. Sometimes walking away is the loudest declaration of victory. You are not obligated to explain your peace. Silence can be a sermon too. And stop being stupid enough to confuse noise with progress. Some people run fast in circles. They mistake movement for growth, busyness for purpose. Slow down. Breathe. Sit with yourself. Ask, what am I really doing this for? If your answer does not bring you peace, start again. Stop being stupid enough to let your past define your possibility. You have made mistakes, yes. You have fallen, yes. But you are not your failure. You are not your foolishness. You are not your heartbreak. You are the lesson that rose from the wreckage. You are the wisdom that bloomed from the wound. Forgive yourself, but don't fool yourself. Forgiveness without change is only permission to repeat the same pain. Stop saying that's just who I am. That is who you chose to be. You can choose better now. You can rise higher now. Every day you wake up is a new opportunity to stop being stupid. Stupidity is not a lack of intellect. It is a refusal to grow. It is the arrogance of staying comfortable in the wrong story. And some of us keep rereading chapters that already broke our hearts because we're afraid of how the next page might feel. But the story cannot change if you keep living the same line. Stop being stupid enough to think you have forever. Time is a gentle thief. It will take your tomorrows and turn them into regrets. Say what you need to say. Leave where you need to leave. Start what you need to start. There is no perfect moment coming. There is only now. And now is sacred. Stop being stupid enough to envy others. You don't know what it cost them to smile. You don't know what they lost to win. You don't know the pain behind the picture. Focus on your lane. Water your garden. Trust your timing. The same sun that warms them will rise for you too. Stop being stupid enough to let bitterness become your religion. Don't let pain turn you into what hurts you. Carry your anger long enough to understand it, then lay it down. Forgiveness does not mean they were right. It means you deserve peace. Do not keep carrying poison and wonder why you're sick. Stop being stupid enough to believe you are unloved. Love surrounds you every day, sometimes quietly, sometimes fiercely. It lives in the laughter of your children, the smile of your mother, the patience of your friend. It lives in the way the earth forgives your footsteps every morning. It lives in the fact that you are still here, breathing, becoming. You are loved because you exist. That's reason enough. Stop being stupid enough to wait for permission to live. Nobody is coming to tell you you're ready. Nobody is coming to crown you queen of your own life. Pick up your crown. Dust off your dignity. Walk out of your doubt like you're leaving a burning house. Your power is not waiting for applause, it's waiting for action. Stop being stupid enough to think strength means never crying. Tears are holy. They are the language of truth. When words are tired, cry, but don't collapse. Weep, but don't waste away. You can be soft and strong at the same time. You can be vulnerable and victorious in the same breath. Stop being stupid enough to measure yourself by others' opinions. Some people will never see you clearly because your light hurts their eyes. Their judgment is not your mirror. Their disbelief is not your reflection. Live for the truth in your own chest. Stop being stupid enough to think you need to prove your worth. You are already worthy. You were born worthy. The stars do not explain why they shine. They just do. Be like that. Let your being be your evidence. Stop being stupid enough to think pain has no purpose. Every ache has a lesson. Every betrayal has a blessing. Every ending is an invitation to evolve. Don't curse your suffering. Study it. Don't drown in it. Dive through it. There is treasure at the bottom of every tear if you dare to look. Stop being stupid enough to call survival living. You were meant to thrive, not just exist. You were meant to dance, not just endure. You were meant to create, not just cope. You were meant to love boldly, speak truthfully, and walk freely. Stop being stupid enough to think happiness is somewhere else. Happiness is not a place. It's a practice. It's in the small choices, the morning gratitude, the quiet forgiveness, the laugh you allow yourself even when life is hard. Stop chasing it. Start choosing it. Stop being stupid enough to run from healing because healing hurts. Growth always hurts. The seed breaks to become a flower. The caterpillar dissolves to become a butterfly. You cannot transform without trembling. Let it break you open, not break you down. Stop being stupid enough to think wisdom comes with age. Wisdom comes with awareness. Some people grow older, not wiser. Some learn, others repeat. Choose to learn. Choose to rise from the same lessons that once buried you. Stop being stupid enough to underestimate your own power. You have survived storms that should have swallowed you. You have walked through nights that never thought you'd see the dawn. And yet here you are, breathing, believing, becoming. That is no small thing. That is proof of something divine in you. Stop being stupid enough to settle for less because you think more is too much. You are not asking for too much. You are asking from too little. The right people, the right places, the right peace will never see your standards as a burden. Stop being stupid enough to carry other people's guilt. You are not responsible for fixing what you didn't break. You cannot heal others by harming yourself. Let them find their own light. You have your own dawn to chase. Stop being stupid enough to silence your soul for comfort. Speak your truth even when your voice shakes. The world changes when one person dares to tell the truth. And maybe, just maybe, that one person is you. Stop being stupid enough to forget gratitude. You are richer than you think. You have air in your lungs, a mind that dreams, and a heart that still hopes. There are people who would trade everything to have what you take for granted. Stop being stupid enough to live only for tomorrow. Tomorrow is not promised, but today is present. Today is the gift, the chance, the miracle. Make it count. Stop being stupid enough to think love has left you. Love never leaves. It just changes its form. Sometimes it's no longer a person. Sometimes it's peace. Sometimes it's not romance, it's rest. Love never dies. It just transforms into wisdom. Stop being stupid enough to believe you have nothing left. You still have breath. You still have time. You still have choice. As long as you have these three things, you have everything. So I say again, not in mockery, but in mercy. Stop being stupid. Stop being blind to your own brilliance. Stop being deaf to your own voice. Stop being numb to your own worth. Wake up, rise up, stand up. You're too sacred to waste on smallness. There will be days you stumble again. There will be nights you forget your strength. That's all right. Remember this. Wisdom is not perfection. It's persistence. Keep returning to yourself. Keep remembering who you are. When the world calls you foolish for having faith, keep walking. When they mock your softness, keep loving. When they misunderstand your strength, keep shining. For one day you will look back and see that every mistake was a teacher, every heartbreak was a lesson, and every stupid choice was just a step toward becoming wise. You will laugh at the pain that once made you weep. You will smile at the storms that once scared you. You will say, I was foolish once, yes, but I am free now. And when that day comes, you will finally understand what it meant all along. That stop being stupid was never an insult. It was an awakening. It was the moment you decided to love yourself enough to live with sense, to walk with wisdom, and to rise fully, beautifully, bravely, into the truth of who you are. Stop mistaking pain for proof of love and endurance for strength. Too many of us were taught that love must hurt to be real, that devotion is measured by how much suffering we can carry, and that patience means tolerating what tears us apart. We grow up thinking that the deeper the wound, the deeper the love. We are told to endure, to hold on, to forgive endlessly, to prove that our hearts are big enough to survive betrayal. But that kind of endurance is not strength. It is self-abandonment dressed in virtue. Pain does not purify love. It poisons it. It turns tenderness into tension and care into captivity. Love is not meant to be a battlefield where only one person walks away whole. Love is supposed to be a refuge, not a reason to ache. Endurance has its place in the journey of life, yes, but not as a way to normalize suffering. Strength is not in how long you can cry in silence. It's in how quickly you can recognize when silence has become your prison. Real love doesn't demand that you break yourself to fit someone's comfort. It doesn't ask you to ignore your intuition, to quiet your pain, to hide your truth so someone else can feel powerful. Real love nourishes, it uplifts, it brings peace even in the storm. If the presence of someone in your life constantly drains your joy, if their love makes you question your worth, then that's not love. It's attachment, dependency, or fear wearing the mask of devotion. We glorify endurance because we confuse resilience with repression. We clap for the ones who suffer gracefully, who smile while their souls bleed, who keep forgiving what is unforgivable, but grace without boundaries is just exhaustion. We keep saying, I can handle it, until handling it becomes a habit of self-destruction. You do not earn love by suffering. You do not prove strength by staying in pain. You prove strength by choosing yourself even when your heart trembles. You prove strength by walking away from what you once prayed for when it no longer honors your spirit. Pain is not evidence that you love deeply. It is evidence that something is demanding to be healed. Yet we stay, hoping endurance will transform hurt into harmony. We tell ourselves this is what love takes, when in truth love doesn't take, it gives. You don't need to bleed to belong. You don't have to break to be seen. Stop giving medals to your misery. Stop baptizing your suffering and calling it sacred. There is no holiness in hurt that has lost its purpose. The real strength is not in the surviving, it's in the choosing. Choosing peace over chaos. Choosing clarity over confusion. Choosing to believe that love without pain is not a fantasy, but a right that you no longer have to apologize for desiring. Wisdom begins where self-betrayal ends. There is a quiet power that rises the moment you stop lying to yourself, the moment you stop pretending not to see what you already know. Too often, we betray ourselves in small ways that add up, saying yes when our whole body says no, smiling when our spirit is exhausted, staying silent when truth is choking in our throat. We think it's easier to keep the peace than to face the discomfort of honesty. We tell ourselves that we are being kind, patient, understanding, but deep down we know we are abandoning ourselves piece by piece. The road to wisdom is paved not with books or quotes, but with moments of raw honesty when you finally admit what you've been denying. Self-betrayal happens every time you choose to please others over honoring your truth. It is when you know someone's energy drains you, but you keep them close out of habit or fear. It is when you stay in situations that no longer grow you because comfort feels safer than change. It is when you silence your instincts and call it loyalty. But wisdom cannot breathe in a heart that has silenced its truth. Wisdom needs space, and that space is created when you stop betraying your own knowing. Every time you choose yourself, wisdom expands. Every time you tell the truth, even when your voice shakes, wisdom takes root. Every time you refuse to keep carrying guilt that isn't yours, wisdom stretches its wings inside you. It is not arrogance to honor your boundaries. It is clarity. It is not coldness to protect your peace. It is maturity. The more you honor what you feel, the more the universe honors you in return. Self-betrayal often begins with the lie that you're being selfless. But there is no real selflessness without self-respect. How can you pour truth into others when you've emptied it from your own soul? How can you love from a place you've abandoned? True love, true compassion, true generosity, they all begin with integrity. And integrity begins with not turning against yourself just to be accepted. Wisdom whispers in the quiet moments you try to avoid. It tells you when it's time to go, when it's time to rest, when it's time to stop begging for what should be freely given. But you cannot hear it if you keep betraying your own heart for the sake of belonging. You cannot grow wise while staying blind to your own boundaries. When you stop betraying yourself, you begin to see the world clearly. You stop mistaking manipulation for care, control for concern, guilt for goodness. You begin to see who deserves your energy and who feeds off it. You begin to recognize peace not as silence, but as alignment. That is where wisdom is born, not in the mind, but in the heart that has finally decided to be loyal to itself. You can't heal in the same place that made you bleed. There is a kind of pain that lingers, not because it is stronger than you, but because you keep returning to the source that caused it. Healing requires distance, both physical and emotional, from what wounded you, yet many of us keep going back to familiar suffering because it feels like home. We call it loyalty, we call it forgiveness, we call it closure, but it is really fear. The fear of emptiness, the fear of starting again, the fear of facing the unknown. We stay where we were hurt, believing time alone will make things better, but time cannot heal what is constantly reopened. Wounds cannot close in the same environment that keeps cutting them. There is comfort in what is familiar, even when it is painful. The walls that once trapped you can begin to feel safe when you've forgotten what freedom feels like. But you must understand, healing is not comfort, it is courage. It is the moment you walk away without knowing where you're going, only knowing you cannot stay. It is the decision to stop explaining your pain to those who caused it, to stop seeking softness in the same hands that once pushed you down. Healing demands space. Space to breathe, space to feel, space to rediscover who you are without the noise of your wound. You cannot expect peace to grow in soil poisoned by pain. The same words, the same faces, the same patterns. They all carry echoes of the past that keep your heart trapped in repetition. To truly heal, you must change the environment of your soul. That means changing your habits, your thoughts, your circles, even the stories you tell yourself. Healing is not just the act of leaving, it's the art of staying gone long enough to rebuild what was broken. Sometimes the hardest part of healing is walking away from people who don't understand why you must. They will call you distant. They will call you cold. They will say you've changed. And they will be right. Healing changes you. It strips away what no longer fits. It demands honesty, and honesty is often inconvenient for those who prefer the version of you that stayed small. But you cannot stay small for the sake of those who cannot grow with you. You owe your healing the gift of new surroundings. You owe your future the chance to be free from the echoes of your pain. Do not mistake nostalgia for love. Do not confuse familiarity with safety. The same walls that witnessed your suffering do not deserve to see your rebirth. Healing means leaving the room where you once lost yourself and stepping into the open air of possibility, even if your legs still shake. You can't heal where you were hurt because healing is a journey forward, not a circle back. Silence can be a sermon, walking away can be victory. There is a strength that speaks louder than words, a power that does not need to shout or prove itself. Sometimes the most profound statement you can make is to say nothing at all, to let your peace do the talking. The world will try to drag you into noise, into arguments, into the chaos of proving who you are and why you deserve respect. But not every accusation deserves an answer. Not every insult requires defense. When you know your truth, silence becomes your shield. When you understand your worth, distance becomes your deliverance. People often confuse silence with weakness, thinking that the quiet soul is the defeated one. But there is a holy stillness in restraint. There is wisdom in letting foolishness echo into emptiness. Silence is not submission, it is strategy. It is the decision to stop giving energy to what drains you. Some battles are meant to be walked away from, not fought. There is no glory in arguing with those committed to misunderstanding you. There is no peace in convincing someone who has already decided who you are. Walking away is not surrender. It is self-respect in motion. It is saying, I value my peace more than your chaos. It is understanding that you do not have to win every fight to prove your strength. Some victories are invisible, found only in the quiet of your own healing. You do not owe the world explanations for protecting your energy. There is power in refusal, the refusal to be baited, the refusal to be broken, the refusal to let bitterness dictate your actions. There is a kind of silence that heals. It is the silence that follows release, the stillness after letting go of what no longer serves your growth. In that silence you can hear your own voice again, the one buried under years of noise and justification. In that silence, clarity arrives. You start to see who is speaking truth and who is only speaking to control. You start to realize that sometimes peace looks like distance, not reconciliation. Victory does not always look like triumph in the eyes of others. Sometimes it looks like walking away without resentment. It looks like smiling to yourself, knowing you chose calm over chaos. It looks like reclaiming your time, your energy, your mind. When you walk away from toxicity, you are not losing. You are winning your freedom back. There is nothing weak about protecting your soul. There is nothing small about stepping away from noise that no longer deserves your presence. Let your silence become your sermon. Let your absence preach what your words cannot. Some people only learn your value when you are no longer available to be taken for granted. And in that absence, they will finally hear what your presence had been saying all along. That peace was the message, and walking away was the declaration of your strength. Fear disguises itself as reason. Don't let it guide your life. It speaks in calm tones, sounding like logic, wrapping itself in words like safety and stability. It tells you not to take the risk, not to speak up, not to dream too loud. It says, be careful, when what it really means is stay small. Fear wears the mask of wisdom to make its chains feel comfortable. It doesn't come as a monster. It comes as a whisper that sounds like protection. It will make you believe that hesitation is prudence, that comfort is peace, and that uncertainty means danger. But fear is clever. It knows how to sound like love, how to sound like care, how to sound like the voice of reason, when in truth, it is the quiet thief of your potential. Fear has stopped more dreams than failure ever could. It convinces you that safety is success, that the familiar is freedom. It will tell you that you're being realistic, that you're just being cautious, while slowly turning your courage into compliance. But courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes it's the soft voice that says, I will try anyway. Fear wants you to wait for the perfect time, but there is no perfect time. The waiting is the trick. Every moment spent waiting for clarity is a moment stolen from your becoming. When fear leads, life becomes a loop of almost said it, almost tried it, almost lived it. The regret of almost is heavier than the weight of failure. Failure teaches, fear paralyzes, and when you let fear guide your steps, your world becomes smaller, the colors fade, the days start to repeat. You convince yourself that this is maturity, but it is actually surrender. Fear turns the extraordinary into ordinary, and you begin to call it peace. Fear pretends to protect you from pain, but it protects you from growth instead. It says, don't love again, you might get hurt. But it forgets that love is the only thing that heals. It says, don't speak up, you might be rejected. But it forgets that silence is its own rejection. It says, don't change, you might fail. But it forgets that staying the same is a slow kind of death. Fear is not an enemy to be killed. It is a liar to be exposed. You cannot stop fear from speaking, but you can stop it from steering. Listen to its warnings, but not its commands. Let it inform you, not imprison you. The voice of wisdom will guide you toward challenge. With a sense of calm, the voice of fear will push you toward comfort with a sense of dread. Learn to tell the difference. Wisdom invites expansion. Fear demands retreat. Wisdom says grow. Fear says hide. Fear may keep you alive, but it will never let you live. The life you dream of lives on the other side of that trembling. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's the refusal to let it make your decisions. Every stupid choice is just an unopened lesson in disguise. Life has a way of teaching through pain, through mistakes, through the very moments we wish we could erase. Every misstep carries a message. Every failure hides a seed of understanding. Every heartbreak holds a mirror to something we refused to see before. It is only when we unwrap these experiences with honesty that they reveal their purpose. The world tells us to regret our mistakes, to bury them, to be ashamed of them. But wisdom whispers differently. Wisdom says that nothing is wasted. Not even your foolishness. Every time you fell for the wrong person, trusted the wrong friend, stayed too long, or walked away too soon, you are gathering knowledge that no book could ever teach. The lesson isn't always clear when the pain is fresh. When your heart is still bleeding, it's hard to see the blessing in the wound. But with time and reflection, the fog clears, and what once felt like punishment begins to look like preparation. You begin to understand that you weren't being destroyed, you were being refined. The mistakes were carving character, teaching discernment, building depth. They were sculpting a stronger, wiser version of you. But that can only happen when you stop running from what you did wrong and start learning from it. We are quick to label ourselves foolish for the choices that didn't work out. We call ourselves stupid for trusting too much, loving too fast, or giving too often. But how else could we learn the value of discernment, patience, and boundaries unless we first crossed the lines that showed us their importance? Every disappointment was an education in disguise. Every loss was a lesson wrapped in hurt. The universe doesn't waste experiences, it recycles them into wisdom. Some of your greatest growth will come from your greatest mistakes. The wrong relationship that broke your spirit taught you what real love should feel like. The job you lost showed you the importance of aligning your work with your purpose. The friendship that ended revealed how precious loyalty truly is. These aren't random moments of suffering, they are chapters in the story of awakening. But you can't receive the message if you keep replaying the pain. The lesson is never found in the bitterness, it's found in the reflection. We often wish for wisdom without wanting the wounds that create it. But life doesn't hand out understanding like a gift. It molds it through experience. You can't know strength without weakness, you can't know clarity without confusion, and you can't know wisdom without foolishness. Every stupid choice carries within it the very contrast you need to see clearly. What once made you ashamed will one day make you compassionate. What once made you cry will one day make you kind. The same situations that once felt like failure will later become your foundation. The key is to stop labeling yourself by your mistakes. You are not the bad decision. You are the person who survived it. You are not the heartbreak. You are the heart that learned to heal. The world will try to define you by your lowest moments, but you have the right to redefine yourself through your growth. Every lesson you've learned came at a price, but that price bought you perspective. You are wiser because you have fallen. You are gentler because you have hurt. You are more discerning because you have been deceived. You are not behind. You are being seasoned. There is a quiet power in looking back at the choices that once made you cringe and seeing them as teachers instead of curses. That perspective is freedom. It releases you from shame. Shame keeps you stuck in regret, but reflection turns regret into renewal. You cannot rewrite the past, but you can reinterpret it. You can look at what you've done and say, I didn't know better then, but I do now. And that now is everything. That now is wisdom earned through the currency of experience. Every stupid choice reveals something about what you needed to heal. The choices that left you empty showed you where you were already starving. The choices that brought chaos revealed the places where you lacked peace. The choices that hurt you taught you where your boundaries were missing. If you pay attention, even your mistakes become maps, guiding you toward the parts of yourself that still need light. The lesson was never outside of you, it was always within, waiting to be noticed. Growth begins when you stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and start asking, "What is this trying to teach me?" That one shift in thinking transforms pain into power. Life is not punishing you, it's preparing you. Every closed door was a redirection. Every rejection was protection. Every heartbreak was expansion. The lesson hides beneath the emotion, but once the tears dry, wisdom remains. To learn, you must forgive yourself. You cannot absorb wisdom while carrying the weight of self-blame. You cannot evolve while cursing your past self for not knowing what your present self knows. Growth requires grace. The same compassion you extend to others must be given to the parts of you that stumbled. You did what you could with what you had, and when you knew better, you began to do better. That is all anyone can ask of themselves. Some of the most beautiful souls are those who have made the biggest mistakes and turned them into medicine. They speak with softness because they have seen their own darkness. They offer patience because they know the cost of rushing. They love deeper because they understand how fragile hearts can be. Their wisdom was not won in comfort, it was earned in chaos. That is what makes it real. When you start to see your stupid choices as sacred lessons, you stop fearing the future. You stop being paralyzed by possibility of making another mistake. You understand that even if you fall again, you will rise wiser. You learn to trust the process of your own unfolding. You realize that failure is not the opposite of growth. It is part of it. Every wrong turn is a necessary curve in the road of becoming. No life lived with courage is free from error. Mistakes are proof that you were brave enough to try. Regret fades when gratitude grows, and gratitude begins when you see how every painful chapter prepared you for the next one. The wisdom you carry today is built on the ruins of yesterday's foolishness. The strength in your spine was shaped by every time you bent too far. The peace in your heart was born from the storms you barely survived. You are not defined by your missteps. You are defined by how you rise from them. The lesson behind every stupid choice is not there to shame you. It's there to shape you. When you finally stop cursing your mistakes and start blessing them, life begins to open in new ways. You become less afraid, more present, more forgiving. You stop needing perfection to feel worthy. You start trusting that even your detours are divine. Every choice, good or bad, was part of the curriculum of your becoming. You did not waste time. You were being taught. You did not lose your way. You were learning how to see clearly. Every stupid moment was a sacred chapter in your evolution, a necessary note in the song of your wisdom. Life is not about avoiding mistakes. It's about transforming them into meaning. Every stumble, every scar, every heartbreak was your teacher in disguise, guiding you closer to the person you were always meant to be.